In this video we're going to take a look at text boxes in Word. Text boxes are found on the Insert tab over here in the text group, and they're called text boxes, but you can pretty much put anything in them. If you want to do a text box, let's go down here to the middle of the page. Let's say we want to put a text box right in here between these two paragraphs. We can go to text box here, and they give you a bunch of pre-formatted options, but I never use those. If you see something here you like, you can pick it. But they also give you an option to draw your own text box. So I click on draw your own text box here, and then just click and drag, and let's do a text box right there. And then you can put whatever you want to in it. I'll just drag a little bit of text from up here, and doesn't matter how much. As a matter of fact, this is what text boxes are frequently used for doing what's called a pull quote, which you see in magazines and newspaper articles quite a bit. They'll take one line or two out of the entire document, and they'll put it in a little box, and they'll make the text bigger to try to draw your attention to the story. Now, the problem we have here is that I've got a text box, and that it's covering up everything that's behind it. And the way you fix that is by selecting the text box, and notice you get drawing tools up here on the top with a format tab underneath. And what we want to change here is we want to change the wrap text property. Right now it says put it in front of the text. You can also put it behind the text if you want to, which really looks weird. About the only time you'd want to do that, I guess, would be if maybe you had a picture and you had it kind of transparent and you wanted to be able to see text and picture at the same time. But we've got some other options here, and we'll do a live preview here. Top and bottom is probably a good one. Through, probably not. You have to, the way I've got it, let's move it over just a little bit here. And now try through again. And oh, now it's not doing anything. Let's try tight. If you choose tight, what it's supposed to do is, there we go, put the text on both sides like that. But apparently if you pick just the right spot here in the middle, you end up just getting it on the top and the bottom. And it's possible what we're doing here is we're making both edges so narrow here that it'd be difficult to get very many words into them. And the other one is called square. And if you do square, let's drag this over to the left here. It'll wrap around it with a square or rectangular margin. You can also put pictures in here if you want to. They're called text boxes, but there's no law that says you have to put text in them. You can go up here and you can change the direction of the text if you want to. You can rotate it 90 degrees left or 90 degrees right. And actually you've got a little rotate feature here that lets you rotate the text to any angle that you want. And let's try that. Let's see what happens if we do some different wrapping options here. If we do tight, there, now you see what tight does. Through looks like it does the same thing. In this case, top and bottom, we're back to this, and then behind and in front of we don't really want. So we'll go back to tight here. That's still pretty hard to read, but this is basically the only way that you can rotate text to any angle other than plus or minus 90 degrees in a Word document. And notice also when I insert a text box here, this little anchor character appears over here in the margin, and that shows you which paragraph that the text box is anchored to. So if you move the paragraph around, now I just moved it down a little bit lower, now it's anchored to this paragraph. And if you move the paragraph around, the text box should go with it because that's what it's anchored to. So you need to pay attention to that because that does tell you a little bit about why your text box looks the way that it does. And we've got other choices up here. We can change the color of the border using these different shape styles, and it'll do a little live preview for us here. So you've got a lot of colorful options for text boxes. And you can also go here and you can change the shape fill. Probably want something kind of light with black text. And if you want to, you can put a picture or a gradient in there. There we go. Put a texture in there if you want, but I don't really think you want to. And you can do an outline, change the color of the outline, although probably the easiest way to do that is by going over here. This kind of combines an outline and a fill for you. You can do shape effects. You can make it glow. You can give it soft edges. That doesn't work very well with a narrow outline like that. You can give it a beveled, kind of a 3D look. Reflection. Lots of options. Once you insert a text box into a Word document, you've got all of these drawing tools available here for you to modify the way the text box looks. Most of the time you're just going to put text or a picture in here and then format it the way you would normally format text or a picture. But you do have a few options here for alignment is probably the big one. There's kind of a neat feature here. You can create a link, and you probably want to do this if you were doing a newsletter or something like that, and you start a document on one page or a story on one page of a document, and you want to continue it on another page. You could do that by putting a text box on the first page, putting another text box on the second page, and linking the text boxes together. And when you fill up the first text box with text, it will automatically flow into the second text box with the remaining part of the text. So if you want to experiment more with text boxes, those are the basics. If you want to experiment a little bit more, there's a bunch of choices here on the Drawing Tools Format tab.